Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. My name is George, and today we've got a beautiful McLaren Artura Spider next to us. This thing is the latest and greatest from McLaren, the baby McLaren. It's small, it's light, it's nimble, and it's really fast. So we're going to talk about it. This thing is pushing 691 horsepower and 720 Newton meters of torque from a 3-litre V6 hybrid. It's also a twin turbo, which is coupled to a hybrid engine, which is coupled to an 8-speed DCT. Yes, I said 8-speed and DCT in the same sentence. That is because this thing has an electronic rear gear. So whenever you're in reverse, the EV engine kicks in and you just use the EV engine rather than using an actual reverse gear. This means that on a motorway, and when you actually drive slowly and normally, you can do about 30 mpg, and I've tested this out, so not bad. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and that's why this thing has carbon ceramic brakes, huge brakes as well, 390 millimeters in the front, 380 on the rear. In the front, it's got 235 millimeters tires, and in the rear 295. So a lot of rubber, a lot of brakes. It can stop very quickly. And of course, to be the McLaren, the best part about it is of course the go uppy doors. Look at it, it looks like a Batmobile. It's slightly difficult to get in, but we'll talk about that later. Don't worry about that. Speaking of the interior, this thing has a very simplistic, minimalistic, but also beautiful interior. Everything is covered in Alcantara and leather. Let's go Alcantara on the seats, leather on the steering wheel, Alcantara on the roof, on the dash, everywhere really. The doors are covered in leather with the Bowers and Wilkins sound system, and that is about it. You got the main dash here and the infotainment system, and that's all you get. You got a window in the rear view mirror, and speakers. Beautiful, simple, driver focused, as it should be. Being a McLaren, you may be thinking there's no storage in this thing. However, in the front gap here, I've got my trusty camera suitcase, and this is kind of a airplane style suitcase, but a lot bulkier and a bit weird proportions. So what I'm saying is, if you and your passenger have airplane style suitcases or just duffel bags or whatever, you can easily fit at least 2 or even 3 in here. So storage is not that bad. Inside the cabin, nothing. So unless you're trying to carry a bag in your lap, then that's all you've got. This, of course, being the Artura Spider, the roof comes up. So let's see how long that takes. In theory, that should have taken about 11 seconds. So not the fastest thing in the world, but also not super slow. Apparently you can do this whilst going up to 31 miles an hour. And really, I mean, you're just chilling out here. All right, well, enough of this talking. Let's actually take this bad boy for a drive and see what it's like.
Might be on something, I might do the right thing. Spike Lee on something, I just might sip on something. Disappear for a month, I might dip on something. Springing into action like a bungee cord. Standing on the corner getting no applause. Squinting through my eyes, I don't know them boys. What you hoping for? Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Ramen noodles for a meal, how I feel, dawg. Why you placing judgments? I'm just trying to live, dawg. Put it on my head, cause it's not what it appeared, dawg. Low key, cutting through the...
Alright, so we're inside the Artura right now. We're driving on EV mode because it's got about 15 miles of range on EV, and currently we're just cruising in traffic on EV mode. However, if I just press this button right here on my dash, next to the dash really, click it up, go into comfort, go into sport, engine is kicked in, downshift, and you got this beauty fired up. The sounds this machine makes are genuinely unreal. I'm not sure how well that comes across on the microphone, but they're just very good. You can hear the turbos, you can hear the whine of the diff or the gearbox. I'm not sure which one makes this noise, especially when you're driving in EV mode, because obviously it's still using the gearbox to sort of move the wheels. You can hear the whine, very similar to what you can hear in a GT3 car. That howl, that whine, which is really appealing to car guys, for me especially. And yeah, the experience is genuinely unreal. In terms of handling, it's also like on rails. It's got double wishbone suspension in the front. I think on the rear it's still normal suspension. When I say normal, it's probably really well engineered and really complex, but it's not double wishbone, it's just normal suspension coilovers that you would expect in any other car. But the double wishbone in the front, it feels like an F1 car, genuinely. The way it hugs the road and the way it turns and it just grips, it's honestly unreal. That power, well, not power, coupled with the Pirelli P0s on it, just do a phenomenal job. Being 1.4 tons heavy, having 700 horsepower, all of it sent to the rear wheels, it just works somehow. The traction control system is also really, really good. It's got something called the VDC, I believe, which is variable whatever. I cannot tell you what it is. I'll put it on the screen here so you can see what that stands for. So what that does is basically adjust the angle of the drift. Basically, it's making you feel like a better driver than you actually are. So with that on, you can choose how much slip the car actually has. So whenever you are trying to do a power slide or whatever, the car will still have traction control on, but it will allow you to slip. However, not so much that you will end up spinning out or causing a bit of an accident on track. Obviously, don't do that on public road. These cars are very unwieldy. It's a mid-rear mounted engine, so it's basically got a pendulum feeling to it. Whenever the back comes out, it'll keep coming out until you correct it or you're pointing the wrong way in traffic. So don't do that. Besides that, honestly, this thing is such a driver's car, such a weapon to drive. I absolutely love it. It's got hydraulic steering, so it's basically on rails. Whenever you touch the steering, the car moves. There is no such thing as lag. The second you move it, the car moves. Being a hydraulic steering, you get the drawbacks of hydraulic steering, which means every little bump, every stone, every crease in the road, you will feel it in the steering wheel and it will try to pull it out of your hands. So keep your hands on the wheel at all times, especially if you're going fast, because if you're on the motorway and you hit a bump or whatever, the steering wheel will pull to the left or the right and you might end up going in a different lane. But obviously, being a supercar, a driver's car, something that you want to have complete control over, it's exactly what you want. But enough of that, let's actually hear this behemoth and see how it drives and get all the goodness out of it. So put in manual, downshift, third gear, second gear, we've got 8,300 RPM and let's go. Unreal. You can hear the turbo sounds, everything is just making noises. You can hear the roll noise, the wind noise. The wind noise not so much because it's so aerodynamic, it's like a wedge, but the roll noise and the wind noise is unreal in this thing. But it's just, that's what you want. And those turbos, the way they spool right behind you, I'm not sure if you can hear them, but it's just, every upshift and downshift is like a kick in the back. If I put it in track mode, it's going to be even more aggressive. I'm right now in fourth gear. I'm going to downshift to third and then to second. You'll probably see the camera jolt. Oh man, what a machine. What a machine this is. Absolute hooligan of a car. And then you put it back in automatic, drop it down into comfort or electric, depending what you want to do, but just in comfort. It's going to upshift to the 8th gear, as I mentioned before, DCT with 8 gears going forwards, reverse is electric. You're tuning at 2,000 RPM and you're going to end up doing about 29, 30 mpg if you're just driving normal speed limit. So honestly, if you want to go on a road trip with this thing, you can absolutely do that. And if you want to take it on a B-roll or a track, you can most definitely do that. And that, my friends, was the McLaren Artura Spider. I'm George, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.